I'm having one of those moments. Hey guys, welcome back, and I can't believe I'm posting again this early either, so don't get used to it. So last video I did a bunch of storytellings on things that I just can't believe that happened to me, and I have no other ideas for content, so I'm gonna do a part 2 to that, because you guys seem to like it, and I'm full of story times, so yeah, let's just do it. Okay, so this first story, if you don't believe me, I completely understand, but I also have someone that can like vouch that this story literally happened. I also have text messages to prove it. This was the story of the time that I got catfished my sophomore year of high school. So I don't want to like say actual names. Do I? No, I don't talk to these people anymore, so I can do it. So sophomore year, there was a kid in my choir class. His name was Jordan. And he had a little crush on me, like, you know, whatever. And he always texted me when he needed advice, when something was going on, and I was always there for him. I was always just like talking to him through panic attacks and like stuff like that. Like, he was a friend of mine, like whatever. He started coming to me talking about this bully in an upper grade that would like torment him and like shove him and stuff when he goes through this one entrance to the hallway. And I was like, okay, do you know this kid's name? And he's like, no, I don't. And I was like, well, fuck. And he would text me on the daily how like things keep happening and stuff like this. He didn't know the kid's name. And then the kid, the bully was like, added him on Snapchat and was messaging him things. Jordan was sending me screenshots of it, and I was like, what the fuck? And then this bully kid added me on Snapchat. And he started texting me. He wasn't like saying rude things to me. He wasn't trying shit with me, but he was saying rude things about Jordan to me. And I was like, who the fuck are you, bro? Like, leave this kid alone. What the fuck are you doing? And just all this shit. This bully was texting me and then my friend Alyssa, and tried sending us inappropriate pictures, things like that. And we're like, what the fuck is happening? And we noticed as time went on, this wasn't like a long period of time this went through, but it was a couple days. We noticed as like the days went on, we were noticing similar spelling and grammar mistakes and little quirks and little like things like that were very familiar to us. And we were talking about it in homeroom, and my friend at the time looked at me and Alyssa, and he's like, what if Jordan is the bully? Like, what if he is like fucking with you, like catfishing you? And Alyssa and I just kind of like look at each other and we're like, holy fuck. We're like, holy shit. Because we tried looking deep into like this, for this bully, like the name that it was given on Snapchat, there was no record of him in our high school. Like, no one's heard of him. He wasn't able to give like a physical like description of him. It made sense. I have no clue why we didn't put that together. Maybe because that was just such an insane thing that we didn't really think was like, oh, this is happening, but it was in fact happening. Oh my god. So we go down to the school's social worker. We went to the dean's first, and the dean's like, nah, this is more of like a psychological thing, go to the social worker. So we go to the social worker and we explain this entire story, and this woman is looking at us like we're fucking crazy. And we're like, dude, no we ain't, my guy. So she calls Jordan down to the social worker office, whatever. He comes down and he was just kind of like, what's going on? And then we had to explain the story again. And she was like, you know, are you doing this to these girls? And he's like, no, like I'm not. And he just would not break. Alyssa was like, is this you? And he's like, no, this is not. Like, I swear I'm being bullied. And just all this stuff. And it just wasn't, nothing was adding up at that point. The only thing that was adding up was that he was catfishing us. And nothing else was making sense anymore. Stories started to get changed like as he's talking, shit like that, and we're like, oh my god. We just keep asking him, like we keep talking about it, and then I look at him and I was like, Jordan, look at me. And he looks at me and I was like, I won't be mad at you. Please tell me if this is you. I'm like, I'm not going to be mad at you. Nothing's going to happen. We just want to know if this is you. And I'm trying to be like, you know, as sweet as possible. Like, I'm a little freaked out, you know? And I was just like, is this you? And then he starts crying, and then he starts nodding his head. He's like, yeah, this is me. like I'm doing this. This is real, this is me, I'm exact, sorry. The look on the social worker's face, she's like, they weren't fucking kidding? Because you don't hear about this shit. This isn't like a common thing. This woman was like, oh my god, they were telling the fucking truth, no fucking way. And I looked, like, Alyssa and I just like looked at each other when he like admitted it, and I was like, what does one do in that situation? I don't know, and I was in it. If I were to go through that again, I wouldn't know what to do. When asked the reasoning behind why, it wasn't so much of an Alyssa thing, it was so much of a me thing. He did it because he said that he was in love with me and that I also reminded him of his dead mother. I wish I could make this up. Like, I really do wish that this was something that I could just make up. It's not. This definitely happened. Before, I knew the kid had a crush on me. I turned him down politely. I wasn't rude. I wasn't a bitch about it or anything. It was to the point where he would just do a lot of talk to teachers about me that he knew I had, that we both had. And my choir director and my vocal coach were talking one day, and my friend at the time overheard the whole conversation, and they were like, yeah, I would not be surprised if Jordan had a shrine of Alexis in his locker. I went, And then my vocal coach even went as far as to ask me, she's like, he doesn't have your address, does he? And I was like, no. And she's like, okay, make sure you keep it that way. And I was like, okay. I was also basically stalked at the same time. Yeah, that happened. I can't believe that happened. But it happened. Jesus, that happened. So yeah, that was the story of the time I got catfished my sophomore year of high school. This next story, it's a little dark, but it's also really funny at the same time. So my senior year, third day, it was my third day of senior year. I get a call down to go to the dean's, and I was, God, it just died for a second. We're back to your usual programming. I was like, oh, I'm just meeting my new dean because I had just gotten a new dean my senior year. I was like, it's fine. I'm just gonna go meet him, say hi, use my like adult charm that I got because that's like I'm a teacher's pet. And I was like, everything, it's fine. I walk in. And he's like, Alexis? And I was like, yeah, what's up? Like, I reach my hand out, I'm like, hi, I'm Alexis. Like, how are you? And he's like, good. Have a seat. And I was like, okay. And he closes the door. And he's like, so how are you? And I'm like, I'm fine. How are you? I'm pretty sure we just exchanged these how are yous, you know what I mean? He's like, how are you doing? And I was like, I'm good, bro. Let's go with you. And he's like, the reason why I asked you to come in today is because I can't even do it. He was like, the reason why I asked you to come in today is because we got an email from someone who was concerned about your well-being. And I went, I said, Who? An email? 3 days in? And you got an email saying that you thought I was gonna... And I was like, what the fuck do you mean? And then he's like, basically the whole thing, he called me in to make sure, trigger warning, to make sure I wasn't going to kill myself. And I went, He's like, so what's been going on? And I was like, you're not a therapist, first of all. You're just a fucking dean. Why am I gonna tell you my life story right now? But like, I was having so much anxiety that I was in fact telling this man my life story because I was so scared. I wanted to like reassure him and let him know that in the end of the day, like, I'm okay, like I'm not gonna do anything. It probably added on to the concern. as I get a lot going on my senior year. I just got out of a really bad relationship. My grandma, who was like my mom figure, was about to die. I had family issues. I was not okay. I think I lost 35 pounds the summer from junior year going into senior year. I understood whoever's concern it was, and if you're watching that, thank you, but also, why you snitch? Why you snitch? I was never going to do it. Was I depressed? Yeah. No, it was not okay. But he's like, I just wanted to make sure like everything was okay. You know, the social worker's here if you need anything. And I was like, okay. I was like, are you gonna call my dad? And he's like, no. And I went, okay, good. Don't do that. Don't do that one. And I walked out of there, and I was talking about it. I put on my Snapchat story, and I was like, who fucking snitched? Who am I taking off this private story? Who am I removing as a follower on my Finsta? Who snitched? To this day, I have no clue who sent in that email or really what that email contained. To this day. Who snitched? Okay, this last story I love telling. To this day, I love telling. And I hope she's watching this. So my dad, before he started dating his girlfriend that he has now, that, you know, has moved in with us and everything, he was dating this woman named Shannon. Yeah. They were dating for about 4 years before they broke up. And side note, when they broke up, my dad was so upset. I wasn't home. But I wasn't home. I was at a school thing, and he called me and he's like, yeah, me and Shannon broke up. And it was so bad of me. This is horrible. And I told him this, and I did this later on. But like, I was on the phone. I was on the phone with him, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. I was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like looking at my friends, and I was like, we're good. They broke up. Like, I was like muting my dad, and I was like, they fucking broke up. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Like, are you okay? I hated this woman. So the story that I'm about to tell explains why I did hate this woman. So to explain this very quickly, if you don't know, my mom has not been in my life since I was 3 years old. She left. I got mommy issues. You know, it's fucked me up in the brain. But that's that on that. They were dating, Shannon and my dad were dating for about 6 months. About 6 months. Maybe not even that. And we all went to the fireworks show. This is my freshman year. Yeah. Freshman going into my sophomore year, yeah. We were sitting there, like, blankets down. We were laying down. She had a couple of drinks. And I'm like, okay. I'm already awkward. Like, I don't know her this well. It's my first, like, my dad's first girlfriend, like, real girlfriend he's had in a hot minute. I'm a little awkward. I have a little bit of anxiety. I don't know what to talk about. Still trying to figure out how I feel about her. Stuff like that. And so we're sitting. We're having, like, a good time. I cannot make this up. What I'm about to say, I cannot make this up. And once I say it, you will understand why I hate her. So we're chilling out, right? And my dad went and grabbed her, like, another beer, like, he was across, like, the field. And she's like, I got a question. And I was like, yeah, what's up? And she goes, so how do you feel about me being your new mom? Like, I know this woman didn't just say, like, I just kind of looked at her and I went, like, I know you did not just say what I think you just said. I know that didn't come out of your mouth. I know it didn't. There's no way it could have. I'm begging you to tell me that did not come out of your mouth, and that we're not sitting right here together after that came out of your mouth, and that no, like, this isn't happening. It happened. That in fact, indeed, came out of that woman's mouth. How do you respond to that? Like, what? Where in this woman's brain did she think it was a good idea to ask this girl, whose father she hadn't even been dating for, I don't even think they were dating 6 months yet, but to ask this girl who, you know, her mom left her, where in your brain was like, that was a good idea? That's a good question to ask. It wasn't. I've never felt so uncomfortable in my life. But on our way home, I explained to my dad that she asked that, and my dad was like, oh, she was drunk, like she didn't mean it like that, it's like you're making a big deal out of it. And I went, boy, I know you didn't. I know you didn't. Okay. Everyone's like pulling my leg today because I know you're not saying the things that I know you're saying. My grandma, when I told her that, because it's before she passed, when I told my grandma that, ooh, she didn't like that. She didn't like that one bit. I hated that woman ever since, and I made that woman know that I did not like her. I purposefully made the entire vibe in the room go down when I walked in. I wanted her to know that I hated her guts. And I told my dad that. My dad's like, I'm so in love, like you need to give her a chance. And I went, absolutely not. I always told my dad, like if he ever proposed to her, like if he ever asked me if he can propose to her, I would have flat out said no. I would have been like, no. I was handling the dating. I will not be handling this. Absolutely not. And then, oh my God, the next 4th of July, she had a thing for 4th of July and fucking with me. I swear to God, not even fucking with me, fucking me up. The next 4th of July, we were at her house and she made a comment and she was like, yeah, I feel like Alexis is gonna introduce me as the evil stepmom. What? So you were aware? I was just gonna refer to you as the bitch. I would use a stronger word, but like that's a bad word. So you're aware though that I dislike you? Good. I don't. The day they broke up was the happiest day of my life. I wish I could say I was lying on that. That just still gets my blood boiling like to this day. Like how are you gonna ask me that? How is my dean gonna ask me, are you gonna kill yourself? How am I going to get catfish? I just don't understand. That's why the title of this video is the title of this video, because I just don't understand. I don't know. I just don't know. Okay, guys, I hope you liked that video. I got way more where that came from, believe it or not. So if you want more, I have another video in mind that I could probably do soon. That's not this. But yeah. That was that on that. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. My merch link is in the bio. Follow my other socials if you want. You know, there's no pressure. Whatever you want to do. You do you, baby. But yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for watching, and I shall see you later. Bye, guys.
Hot summer nights, mid-July, when you and I were